As our souls awake, I invite you to breathe in and out, letting each inhale fill your body, and each exhale invite your body to surrender, to rest in the question of this moment. Breathing in the God in all, the God in you. Rest in this moment, just as it is. Letting your breath anchor you, letting the sound of my voice and the gentle sound of Pete's playing wash over you, wash through you, lead you tenderly inside to where you recognize God living in you and as you, the holy, present in you and as you. May you awaken to the love that you are. May you know and shine your divine light. May you listen to the questions that arise in your heart, that arise in your relationships. May you listen with love and patience. With trust. May you speak your truth and live your truth. May we, as spiritual companions, as a community, as partners, as family, awaken to the love that we are. May we listen deeply. May we hold sacred boundaries of sacred yes and sacred no. May we bring forth the light in each other. May we nourish each other in joy, with patience, with courage, in trust. May we love and be loved in ways that call forth our own transformation and the transformation of the world. And so it is. So take a moment as you come fully back into this space to look around, to see the God in all, the God mirrored back to you. Beloveds at home, we are grateful for your presence with us as well. So I'm going to start with a question. How many of you remembered that I gave you homework last week? How many of you did it? Any good teacher will start with a review of the previous lesson to make sure everybody's coming along with me. So the homework was to try and pay attention over the course of this week, to pay attention to moments where you could feel presence, your own presence fully in whatever you were involved with a close relationship, with somebody you were holding the door open for as they walked through, some way to consciously be aware that your presence, your attention is important to yourself and to the relationships in your life. And to notice what it felt like to really be there. When it was easy, and even maybe when it was not easy. Because here's another question for you that you might all get 100% on this question. How many of you have relationships with humans that sometimes are complex? All right, I see some hands down there. Come on. Sometimes, maybe it was the sometimes that threw you off. So last week, I talked about the power of presence in our relationships and the gift of then growing spiritual friendships, right? A night like an open mic night, there's social companionship, there's fun, and occasionally something deeper happens in even those moments. Here, when we show up with each other, it might feel passive because I'm up here doing this, and the music group is up here, we get to join in the singing, but it is not actually passive. When we show up together, we are growing spiritual friendships. We are growing presence of that power we tap into to transform our own spiritual journeys, our own hearts, our own relationships, and the world. So that's the Cliff Notes from last week. So much is at stake in this moment of our human history. So much. In a landscape of public cruelty and violence, what are we mirroring? Faced with both the disappearance of people and the disappearance of an assumption that public servants work for the common good, what are we called to do? How are we called to be in sacred relationship with each other, with our neighbors beyond the safe sanctuary walls of this community, with the earth herself? How are we resting in those questions? How are we growing the world we long to see? From Mark chapter 6, verses 35 through 37. Late in the day, his disciples came to him and said, "This is an isolated place and it is already evening. Send these people away so they can go to the surrounding countryside and villages and buy something to eat for themselves." Jesus replied, "You feed them." There we go. How are we feeding each other? Spiritually, pragmatically, we have a bin out in that hallway. Many people in our own community are facing an economic reality that a year ago seemed impossible. Seniors living on Social Security, families eking by paycheck to paycheck. 70% higher demand at focus food pantries, and it is the same all over. That's just here. We live in a world where it is so unthinkable that any child could go to bed hungry, could die from starvation. It is unthinkable in a world that is so filled with an abundance that we don't feed each other. I was reminded this week, talking with somebody, about how overwhelming it can feel to see all of the places where there is such deep wounding in our country, in our world. That the desire to save everything and everybody is so overwhelming that this beloved that I was speaking with felt frozen and not knowing how to feed anyone or anything. And then she told a little story, and on top of it, this beautiful plant that I have nurtured for 10 years outside my apartment building. They gave us 24 hours notice to move our car because they're all coming down. On top of all of the big things that I can't control, I can't even control this plant in my own yard. But she found 2 little shoots of this witch hazel bush that she could save. And so she did. She had to cut them at the tap roots, knowing that she really was grieving even this plant that had grown from a foot high to shade her front yard that birds lived in. And she couldn't save it. But she could save those little shoots and transplant them. We cannot save personally every heartbreaking situation. But we are called collectively to continue to feed each other with our presence so that we can save the shoots that are right in front of us. What is in arm's reach? What is one thing I can do today to ease the suffering of one of my neighbors? Our collective presence as a faith community matters. We grow ways of learning to trust each other, even when we don't see eye to eye on everything. We grow trust together in sacred relationship with each other, and we take that agreement out into the world. I agree to see the divine essence in all beings, even the ones who have hidden it pretty firmly from themselves. What is at stake as we grow a community that cares? Growing a community that cares, that communicates with care, that recognizes that sometimes we stumble and bumble into each other, even here where, it's all about love. We still sometimes stumble and hurt each other. We are growing spiritual depth, spiritual courage, setting sacred boundaries of what we say yes to and what we say no, not that. We do not stand for that, we stand for this. That is sacred, holy work. Speaking truth and living truth, even when it is challenging, is why we show up here together. We are each other's training wheels. We grow sacred friendships so that we can strengthen our ability to see with God eyes, the God in all, the God in me. We practice with each other, communally, in small groups, in book groups, doing hospitality, giving rides to our neighbors who can't get here on their own, showing up in all of the ways we show up for each other, in fun, in fellowship, in friendship, in sacred service. And prayer and service in our community and the world are not just words. They're words that lead us forth into building sacred relationships, into navigating conflict. What is this moment in the world calling for us to heal? It is so easy to look at all that is wrong and forget to imagine or to see all that we bring to healing. Resting in those questions. Resting in what we long to heal. Growing trust and strength together helps us do some small or big action to save one thing, to transplant that shrub, to nurture it in new soil and watch it grow, to feed this child, this elder, to sit with this friend whose heart is broken over a relationship that feels like there will never be healing. And just our presence, our being love, offers healing. We are God's eyes and hands and heart at work in the world. There is no separation. When I forget, I look to you to remind me. When you forget, I try and remind you. That is the gift of sacred relationship in community. So what is one action of love that you might take this week? One action that requires love and courage. Who is one person that you can reach out to say, here's the thing I want to do. I'm a little afraid. Will you be my accountability buddy? Here is one heartbreak I will share with you because I can't hold that question on my own. I need somebody to rest in it with me. Will you be that person? That's this week's homework. One act of love and courage. One beloved friend to reach out to. One shrub of kindness, of justice, of mercy that we transplant in the rich soil of our love. That is all we're asked to do. Some days it's easy. Some days it feels like such a leap. So find a hand to hold and leap. I'm going to end with a moment of calling us back into our own hearts. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and out. And with everything that this moment asks you to name and to listen to and hold space for, that you long to heal and repair, we bring that into this moment together. And you may want your hands open to receive these blessings, or maybe your hands on your heart, whatever you feel comfortable with. But may we love and be loved with wholeness. May we see and know and shine our divine light. May we listen deeply, with courage, with openness and curiosity, with presence. May we speak and live our truth. May we walk the path of sacred relationship with each other, with our neighbors, with our beloveds, with courage and grace. May we love and be loved in ways that heal and transform the world. May it be so, and so it is, always and in all ways.